Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm S. Maxine Fisher, an author, fiber artist, and queer parent of one. Today I'm going to take you along for my latest project, Mathilde the Sea Turtle. I am so excited to get started with this. This is a pattern by Cody Loops that I'll link down below, and I have been itching to work on it for quite some time. I have been furiously market prepping when I'm not preparing Etsy orders, but I've finally finished up all the little stuff that I've had in my basket, and it is Labor Day weekend. So I have some extra time and I'm going to work on one of these sea turtles. It is a realistic looking sea turtle. I'll show you a picture of it up here. And it is crocheted in all kinds of little pieces and sewn together. So it really looks like a real loggerhead sea turtle. I think it's really cute. Even the eyes are crocheted. I'm really excited to do the eyes because I don't currently have a good pattern for crochet kawaii eyes. I do have the little half moon sleep eyes that I use sometimes from the Hubble the Squid pattern, but I would be really excited to add crochet eyes to my repertoire of options on some of my plushies. So without further ado, let's get into it. Spoilers, I actually did start Mathilde the Sea Turtle before working on this video. I was going to use this yarn because I had this dark green yarn from that's Parfait Chunky, and I got it in one of those mystery bags. I didn't actually love the color because it doesn't really fit with the rest of my aesthetic, and I've been saving it thinking, hey, maybe I'll do a sea turtle, maybe I'll do some emotional support pickles. This is the top back plate, and it is really small. I know there's got to be like these are lined up like 4 of these for the top of the shell, but I was envisioning the sea turtle being really big and huggable, so I think I'm going to size up. I think this is the perfect opportunity for me to check out the new yarn from Michaels, so I'm going to run down to Michaels and I will see you when I come back, and hopefully we'll have some chunkier yarn to start the sea turtle. All right, folks, I am back from the jaws of Michaels. Of course, I bought more yarn than I intended to. This yarn is almost exactly the same size as Parfait Chunky. Here's the yarn I'm going to use. I got Loops and Threads Demi Purl, and I got the green, the olive green, and this is Whitecap Gray. I guess that's a new color. From here, it looks like a cream or a beige, but I think this is going to be perfect for making this loggerhead sea turtle. I've also seen it done in like a rust color, and I know that I think at least Cozy Cub has a rust that's just been out of stock everywhere, so I decided to go with Demi Purl and just grab what they had in stock. This is like the closest one. So let's see how it works. Oh, and I need to show you guys the rest of my haul from Michaels. So they're on their Labor Day sale. And when I got the coupon, I was like, oh my goodness, let me go in and restock anything that I typically buy for Michaels now. So I have like weight beads that I use for making weighted plushies and weighted accessories, and they're kind of a crucial item in my inventory. So I went to restock my weight beads and I found out that Michaels had discontinued them, and I had a panic moment. They look like really tiny, very smooth plastic lentils, and it just makes the item really squishy. So it makes the plushie kind of have a good squishy squashy feel, a good hand feel. I went on Amazon and panic bought 2 big bags of these weight beads because they were the last 2 in stock, and I paid $33 for them. But I was like, you know what, if this product is going away, let me get it now. But guys, I went to my local Michaels and look what they had in the clearance bin. I got the last 3 bags in existence at the store. And so I will be in stock with weight beads till the end of time. I'm gonna be really judicious with using these and only use these beads when I actually need this type of bead, because I don't know if anybody else is gonna be stocking this type of weight beads, and I really like them. There we go, I'm stocked. Now, let's get into this sea turtle. Let's see. So this is recommending a 6.5 millimeter hook. And just for comparison, I use a 5 millimeter for Parfait Chunky and Cozy Cub. And Cozy Cub recommends, why does Cozy Cub also say to use a 6.5 millimeter hook? These are 2 completely different weights of yarn. Look at this. All right, I think they're crazy. I'm gonna go with my gut. I have to like physically look at my hooks. This is my Bernat Blanket loose hook, and this is my like my Bernat blanket or parfait plush hook. So I think this is a 6mm. And I'm gonna use a 5.5 for the smaller pieces. Okay, now we're in business. So we're gonna start out with the smaller pieces. I'll see you back when I complete one of the pieces of the shell, and we'll see how the size is coming out. Okay guys, coming back on to show you my progress so far. This is how it's looking, and honestly, I'm not super pleased with what I have done so far. I think I frogged it once, and I think I'm gonna frog it again. The first time, I didn't like the center. It's still very conical, but I don't think this is a problem with the pattern because Cody Loops actually has a modification in their pattern for using blanket yarn, and she specifically says that chenille is more forgiving and it'll kind of mat down a little bit. So your pieces of the carapace, that's the word I was looking for, your carapace sections will actually, basically they're not going to come out like this with chenille, but with blanket yarn they get all pointy. I really do like this pattern. I like that it's very exact. This is definitely an advanced pattern because as you're going, it's not one of those simple patterns where you're just working predictable rounds of single crochet. So you really do have to read along as you go. But I like that because I feel like this is going to be a gorgeous sea turtle when this comes out. It's going to look very realistic, and sometimes real life doesn't conform to our easy circles and spheres that we do with amigurumi. So I'm going to pause the recording for 1 second. I'm just going to sit here and look at my pattern and see if I can do this blanket mod, because I think this Demi Purl is going to act more like blanket yarn is how it feels. I was looking at this pattern going, I feel like this the recommended hook size is really small. So I'm gonna size up just by 1 and see how this starts to feel. I'm gonna use the normal hook that I would use for this type of yarn, which is a 6mm. And then I have a 6.5 that I'm gonna use for the flippers. So let's see how this works up. And I'm gonna put you guys back into time-lapse mode while I try this again. Hey guys, I'm just coming back on to share my progress. I realized just a minute ago the camera wasn't running, so you didn't see me on time lapse, but that's okay. So here's where I'm at. I actually did 2 of these, and this is A, which is the top of the carapace. So this one I did in the Demi Purl with a 6mm hook, and this I did with a red 6.5mm hook. I feel like there's not much of a big size difference, but this one just felt much better. This one, my hand was just really starting to cramp, and it was actually getting painful. So I felt like I can't just finish a turtle that's gonna feel like this if that's how I'm doing the first little piece. So we're gonna set that one aside. Plus, I didn't frog it because I feel like that yarn has been used like 3 times already and it's getting all kind of raggedy. It's actually held up really well, but it's getting to the point where it doesn't look as or feel as nice. So I think we're gonna go with this hook. I have my jumbo hook that I use for Parfait XL and for making chickens, and I am gonna have to go online and get me a 7mm hook. Maybe I can still snag that Michael sale. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, this is gonna be my friend from here on out. So we're going to continue. I will take a little picture after I'm done and we can see my progress. So I'm gonna move on, gonna do the rest of the carapace, and then we're going to work it all together. All right, folks, I am coming on to show you my progress. Spoilers, I did not finish the entire carapace. I still have 2 pieces left, but I finished all the way A through D, and now I am heading out, so I am gonna go get my hair cut, and when I come back, I will have less hair. Hey everyone, it's the next day, and spoilers, I have actually been working a little bit overnight, but I came on so I could show you my progress on the turtle. Look at that. I am loving how this came out. I'm definitely glad I stopped to read the instructions, because working with this, treating it like blanket yarn, was really game-changing. It also made it, I feel like it made it easier and quicker to start with the larger number of single crochets in those initial chain 1 or magic rings. So here's the shell so far. This is the top, this is the, I think. Oh, great. Nope. I think this is the, this is the top and this is the bottom. It's pretty, it's kind of hard to tell. But I crocheted it all together, and guys, so I went rogue. There is this part when you finish all these pieces where you have to place like 5 to 6 stitch markers around the edges in certain stitches so that you know exactly where to connect them. And I know that doesn't sound difficult. That's actually really smart, and it's a smart way to write a pattern. But I kind of looked at that and my brain just went, so what I ended up doing is the same thing that I do for when I'm crocheting an African flower design, and I just wung it. I matched things up where they looked like they belonged. I got impatient and I used the same technique I use for African flower crochet, and I did single crochet because I felt like that makes the joints a little bit softer. So I might have to frog if this does not come out looking right, but I think I'm happy with how it came out. It looks good to me, and we'll see what happens when I do the shell margin. Once again, always read instructions because this was my first attempt at one of the hind flippers. It looks like a pierogi, and it's not quite the way it's supposed to be. And I really didn't like the way these baubles were coming out. So I went back to the pattern and I looked and I realized I was doing it wrong, and I needed to stop and slow down and read the instructions. So no more crocheting in the middle of the night, starting new things. So here's how they came out. These look much nicer. They still kind of look like a pierogi, but they are a cute pierogi. And there's actually a piece that you crochet in up here. So I'm gonna do those last and then attach them all to the shell once I have the green shell margin on. So I'm gonna sit down and work some more on the front flippers, and I will see you guys. I'm gonna put you into time-lapse mode because I can't crochet and talk at the same time. Okay guys, I'm coming on because I just had to frog everything I just did. And that is what happens when you let your stitch marker fall out and not pay attention to your pattern. But anyway, I was just looking at my pattern and I did want to come on and say, this is so smart. I did not even notice, but this actually has a pocket underneath the turtle where you can put a hatchling. It is so cute. So it looks really natural and really nice. And then you can hide the 2 little baby hatchlings in there. And I think that is so adorable. So I am going to go back to crocheting. Okay guys, I'm coming back on for one quick second. I'm almost finished the front flipper, and I did want to point out a technique. So I tend to overly tighten my slip stitches. I don't know about you guys, but if you find that that's something that you do, use your smaller sized hook just to insert under the slip stitch and pull your yarn through, and then go back to your larger hook. Man, I really did over tighten these. I hope I don't have to frog. But yeah, if you do that, you should be able to navigate that without so much pain. I know I don't love slip stitches, but I definitely love the shape this is taking. So I'm just gonna kind of push through it. All right, folks, here is the flipper. Oh, that is so soft and fluffy. I love it. And I definitely love the feel and the texture with the 8mm hook. So let's see the size comparison. I think that is definitely the correct size for this. So fortunately, I do not have to go crochet hook shopping. We've got this. This is going to have the little leg that attaches. And I think I am going to make the last flipper off camera and make the rest of the legs. And I will see you back when we start the head. All right, folks, here we are. Here are my flippers. These are the front ones. I love how they came out. I really like, I should show off. I like the fact that it actually has the arm and not just the flipper. These are the back flippers. They also have the little arm. I feel like a lot of sea turtles have just kind of a semicircle, and then it just sort of connects by this little end. So I like that these really feel solid. They feel like, I don't know, like real sea turtle flippers, for lack of a better term. They still kind of look like pierogies, not gonna lie, but I do like the way they came out, and I think they're the right size. So onto the head. We are back to the smaller crochet hook, so let's keep on moving. I'll put you guys in time-lapse mode because I can't do this pattern while talking, unfortunately. There are so many details, so I'm gonna keep on crocheting. Okay guys, I realize I might have made a mistake back on round one. So I completely forgot that I was using the blanket yarn modification, and so I probably was supposed to put 12 single crochets in this magic ring and skip round two. I don't know how much that's going to be a big deal. It is a little bit pointy, but I think I'm just going to push forward anyway. Usually things are more forgiving when you stuff them, and the head is going to be stuffed pretty firmly. So I think if I stuff it correctly, it should even out a little bit. And if not, I think I can just draw a thin yarn through that and pull the center ring tight, and hopefully it won't be as pointy as some of the pictures, because I think this looks okay. I think it's going to be fine. All right, just going to keep on crocheting the head. Did the head before the rest of the shell because I'm really hoping to be able to get this all done and stuffed before my son wakes up. He's been so curious about my crocheting lately. He comes up and grabs my stuff and goes, "I got!" So earlier today he came up and grabbed a whole dragon wing and was holding on for dear life. So it was, you know, I want to give him cute things, but some things you gotta leave in mommy's hands. So, all right, I'm gonna tamp this down really good here and try to stretch out the size of the snout. I think this is going to be fine without the modification. I keep forgetting that I'm not putting sinker eyes in at this point. So we are going to crochet the eyes with fine yarn and sew them on. And honestly, I think that is going to make life a lot easier, or it definitely made a stuffing job easier, I should say, because when you have sinker eyes, you have these big clunky backs that are in there, and it can interfere with the placement of the fiber fill. So I felt like I got a really good shaping here without the sinker eyes being in my way. All right, I'm going to go back to crocheting. All right, and that is it for the head. We're going to do our invisible fasten off. I feel like this artist who created this pattern is such a perfectionist like myself, because she actually has you doing invisible decreases and fastening off to create a seamless join. And she even has you kind of decrease the height of your stitches as you come around to the end of the spiral, so that this the neck is all nice and even. I love it. I am so happy with this pattern. I really, really need to reach out to her and see if I can get that hatchling. And make sure that we have the full set so we can get the full effect. We had this art club at my church a long time ago, and It was almost like painting with a twist without the twist. We would get together and do like kind of a guided painting session. So my friend who was running the class would always laugh at me at the end of the class when she'd look at my painting and she'd say, oh, you went rogue again, because I don't know, I would look at her work and instead of trying to replicate it exactly, I would come up with some idea of something else I wanted to be in the scene, or some way that I wanted to do the sky that was a little bit different, and kind of did my own thing in conjunction with the guided class. And I feel like that's what I do with crochet. Like, crochet is so versatile, and like you can follow a pattern exactly and still have it come out a little bit different than the way the maker made it, or you can just make a pattern your own. And honestly, if you know what you're doing, like you understand the basic stitches, there aren't any rules. There's nobody saying that you can't modify a pattern to fit your needs or your whim at the time. Funny story before I get to the shell. I actually used to be really into music when I was a kid. So as a teen, I was really fascinated by the worship leader in our church who would really just kind of improvise through a song, or transition from one song to another song kind of seamlessly without even sounding like they were tripping up. And I asked her at one point, I was like, can you teach me how to do improv? Because I knew like classical piano. I took piano lessons as a child. So like I knew my scales, I knew my chords, I understood basic music theory, but I asked her, hey, can you teach me improv? So I sat down with her for a couple sessions, and literally all she did was pull out not some sheet music, but some chord charts that were guitar chords for some songs that we were familiar with, and showed me how to form the chords. And I was like, okay, I understand that part, but how do you do all the blah, 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 blah in the background that creates, creates harmony to go with a sung melody? And she's like, oh, I just make it up as I go. And I was so frustrated with her because I was like, okay, well, I know how to form the chords, but how do you work the magic? And for me, I felt like that was sort of my Dorothy moment where, in The Wizard of Oz, Glinda says to her, oh, well, you've been able to get home all along. You've had the slippers. But if I told you, then you wouldn't have believed me. And for me, like, that was kind of my aha moment to realize I've had the magic all along. It's your creativity. It's what do you want to do in the moment? What sounds right? And the more you work that magic, the more you play music or crochet, the more you do your art and practice your skill, is what takes your work from craft to becoming art, is when you insert that part of yourself, that whatever just comes to you, and don't be afraid for it to sound wrong, because the more that you play, the more that you craft, the more it's going to sound right when you kind of go off script. Anyway, that was my little spiel for today. So I'm going to get to the shell now. I'm going to grab my contrasting color, and let's see what hook we need. Shell margin. Hook size B, keep tension loose. Okay, so we're using our jumbo hook for the outside of the shell, and I am going to work on this, and I will see you when I get the shell finished. Hey everyone, we're losing our light a little bit here, but I wanted to come on and show you my progress on the sea turtle. Look how he is coming out. It looks so cute. I love the flippers are just the right size. I love how this came out. All that's left is putting the body together and crocheting the eyes. So I'll be doing that next, but I wanted to show you my progress on the shell. Due to my going rogue and not quite paying attention to the pattern, I did make one mistake, quote unquote. I say mistake because I actually really wanted it like this. I liked the ridge and border around the plates on the shell. But after I looked through the pattern and the tester appreciation, I realized that actually, I think I was supposed to crochet directly through both loops of the slip stitches around here and not just the back loop. I did do just the back loop again because I was expecting to see that little ridge there and I wanted the depression in between. This is the belly part, and I did make it with the pocket because I got the pattern to do the hatchling. Oh, I love how this came out. This is so perfect. The pocket is nice and deep. Like you can fit your whole hand in there. Yeah, this is a phenomenal pattern. Whoever Cody Loops is, they outdid themselves. I did check their shop, which I'll link down below. They are a marine biologist, so that would account for all the really detailed marine life patterns. They also have some cool like anemone pops where you can pull a fish out of an anemone, and they're really realistic looking, so you can kind of do them with like fur yarn and make them all poofy, or with lots of little, I don't know if it's chains or baubles or whatever, but like the anemone looks like it has all the little tentacles. It's really, I know I'm using the wrong term, all the little little polyps or whatever inside the anemone. It's really, really cool looking. So I am actually looking forward to maybe crocheting another of their patterns in the future. But for today, we're going to put the turtle together, and then we are going to crochet some eyes. Hey everyone, it is time to show off the finished turtle. Look at her. She's so cute. She is beautiful. Here are the eyes that we crocheted, and the eyelids are actually crocheted right onto the eye. Oh, I love it. I think the nostrils give it another touch of realism. I love everything about this. This was such a fun project to make. And I love the fact that you can store the little baby turtles inside the mama turtle. So I did go ahead and go online, and I got the hatchling. Look at him, he's so cute. He's so cute. He's sticking out of his little eggshell. And I love this, by the way. It's like, it's not a standard round egg like you see for a lot of like hatching egg things. It literally looks like a turtle egg where the edges kind of curl inward a little bit. If you've ever seen reptile eggs, they're kind of like a little pouch. They're soft. They're not a hard eggshell. So here's the eggshell, and here's the turtle hatchling. I should turn it over so you can see him. He's so cute. He's so adorable. He is so precious. Little eyes. The eyes are embroidered on, and I did not use acrylic yarn for embroidering the eyes. I actually used skinny chenille. I had the black and white left over from another project. So I love the way this came out. It was so cute. I definitely won yarn chicken on this project. I used every last inch of that skein of white cap gray. I still do have the other half a skein of the sphagnum is this color, Demi Purl. So maybe I will have to get my money's worth out of this pattern and do another turtle, or at least some more hatchlings. I feel like these were really easy to make, and I feel like this would make a good, I don't know, like a good easy market item. It only took me a few minutes to work up the shell and little Toby the hatchling. So I think I'm gonna make a bunch more of these for market because they're so cute. They're so precious, they're so little. And they make a good keychain too. Like you can, I don't know, I feel like I could thread a keychain on the back of this. All right, I'm gonna stop raving about this pattern. Go buy it. I'm linking it down below. She does have a 3-in-1 pattern bundle. You will thank yourself so much if you get that pattern bundle. Support this really talented lady or person who's the marine biologist to make more cool patterns like this. I did go ahead and follow her shop because I can't wait to see what Cody Loops comes out with next. Shout out to Cody Loops if you're watching this video. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed not only the informational aspect of this pattern, but just be able to, don't get spicy with me. I'm just sitting, minding my business. Cats think they own you. Thank you, Cody Loops, for the informational aspect of your patterns and just how much they reflect the science and the love for science that I can see, that I also share. I am actually really looking forward to now finding other good patterns from this creator or somebody else that really showcase nature in a way that's more detailed and realistic, because that's something I really like when I'm able to crochet. So comment down below if you know of any other good patterns that you think I should try, and I will see you in the next video. As always, please remember to be kind to me, to others, and ultimately to yourself. Have a fabulous day, everyone, and stay creative. Bye.